Yo, it's my break time. What's up, people? Hope y'all having a good day, man. Been kind of a long day here, I can't lie to you, so I'm a bit tired. Um, it's only Tuesday, and I feel like, man, you feel like it's like Thursday already, bro. I am beat. Ooh. It's kind of a hot day down here. I think that's the problem. It's starting getting hot a bit early this year. This is just February, and it's unseasonably warm today. I know all you people, who live in cold climates don't want to hear all that shit, but that's real talk. It's hot. Okay? That's what it is. Man, what are we going to talk about today? So I just saw that Dan Raphael reported that Bob Arum, y'all favorite promoter, Bob Arum, has come out again and said that he not about that life with Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos. He not about that life. You know what I'm saying? It kind of feel like Bob Arum, Bob Arum kind of just like, he don't care enough no more to even BS nobody. Let me share the article from Dan Raphael, by the way. Let me share the article. There it is. Right. So basically, the purse bid for Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos is set for the 18th, right? It's for the IBF mandatory. Lopez is set to get like 65%, Cambos is 35%. Um, the fight was ordered on January 8th, but no deal was made. IBF, had to force the IBF to order the auction that will determine the purses and who promotes the fight. So basically, it seems like Top Rank didn't exactly come up with the dough to outright get the fight, on the Champions Network. So IBF had to order an auction, meaning anybody can bid on this fight. Anybody can bid. It's like anybody can get this fight, right? He goes on to say the impasse is not because Lopez promoter Top Rank and Cambosis promoter Lou DiBella have been unable to work out the money. Both promoters believe they could work it out quickly. The issue is a disagreement between Top Rank and Lopez over his purse. According to Arum, he says, we haven't been able to reach a deal for whatever reason, and this is not a marquee fight. He apparently declined to discuss the exact numbers. He goes on to say, if somebody outbids us, it's fine. I don't care. It's fine. We get a percentage from Lopez depending on the bid. That's the deal. Every promoter has that in their contract, and so be it. The fight will happen. Somebody will buy it at the purse bid. There you go. So Bob Arum is like, he don't care, man. He don't care if somebody outbids him. If y'all want to buy this, go ahead and buy it, man. Go ahead and buy it. What's good, John Deely? How you doing, man? let me post my link up early because y'all know I don't stay on here long. I get off quite quickly because that's when my break is over. So basically, Bob Arum is saying this ain't no big fight, man, and I'm not interested in paying no big money for this fight. Now everybody's saying Bob Arum is cheap, but remember, Teofimo Lopez is the dude who's been asking for like $10 million and stuff like that. I don't know, to fight Haney. So I'm really wondering exactly how much he asked for to fight Kambosos. That's interesting. Bob Arum didn't want to say how much the numbers were, but really it's a mandatory fight, and he's not interested in doing that fight. Bob Arum is not really a fan of these mandatory fights. right? Remember, he had a problem when Josh Taylor beat up that dude who was his mandatory. He didn't like that at all. He was mad that Josh Taylor had to fight that dude. I think he was from Thailand or something. And Josh Taylor beat the dog shit out of that guy. But this kambosos fight, I remember people saying that the Greek community in Australia are going to put up the money to get Teofimo to come to Australia and all of that. Seems like that fell through. Bob Arum really doesn't care to get kambosos here. Apparently, what he's prepared to pay for it, Teofimo Lopez don't want. So Teofimo and Bob Arum at it again. Remember, Teofimo Lopez has had issues because even after the Lomachenko fight, he was talking about, when he's going to get his fair share, and he's not getting his fair share of the money, and he wants his purses to be bigger. Teofimo has been talking about how much, he should be paid, but Teofimo Lopez hasn't made one defense yet. Hasn't made not one defense of his title yet. This is supposed to be his one defense, his first defense. I'm sorry, he defended and unified his IBF that he won from Kome against Lomachenko. So he defended and he unified with Lomachenko. So this is supposed to be his first defense as a unified champion. People call Bob Arum cheap, but is it cheap or just honest? We don't know what Teofimo Lopez asked for. We know when he was fighting Lomachenko, him and Bob Arum had another spat because Bob Arum didn't want to raise his pay scale from over $1 million. It was, I think Lomachenko came down on his pay to get Teofimo to, up to, I think, 1.25 or something. And that's how the fight happened. So I'm really wondering exactly how much Teofimo Lopez asked for. I mean, how much does he think he should get paid to fight George Kambosos? That fight not going to make no money in America. And according to how much he wants to be paid, Bob Arum is going to be forced to put that on pay-per-view. Who's going to buy Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos on pay-per-view? What's good, Lisa Bales? Lisa, in case you missed it, Bob Arum said he don't care if he lose the purse bid for Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. He don't care. So Bob Arum is basically saying, yo, man, put that shit up for auction. If somebody buys this fight, I get paid anyway. So who cares? Somebody will buy it. I'm guessing he's still gonna put in a bid for it, but it's gonna be what it is. If Teo don't want to fight, he's gonna have to drop that belt. See, this is what happened when you play all these games. Oh, I'm going to send Kambosos and Devin Haney contracts and blase, and all of this. So now you're in a contractual dispute with your own promoter over your mandatory fight. I think Dan Rafael say Teofimo Lopez has like 3 years left on his contract with Top Rank, so he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere no time soon. So he's gonna have to stay there. Bob Arum is not interested in paying no big money for no small fights. But I would really like to know how much Teofimo Lopez wants to get paid for this fight. I would like to know. He made some comments some time ago, I think, when he said he won't fight for less than $5 million. Teo thinks very highly of himself in terms of his drawing power, but I don't know about all that. I know people are going to call Bob Arum cheap, but I think it's the best thing for Teofimo Lopez, maybe. If you feel like you're a big star, then let it go to purse bid. Somebody will buy it. Maybe they'll pay more than Bob Arum. So let's see how much people think you're actually worth. If you think your promoter is lowballing you, let's see how much other people think you are worth. See, purse bids are really checks on your ego, because when it goes out there, you might get less. You know what I'm saying? So Teofimo Lopez is going to have to come to some kind of agreement with Top Rank. but apparently it's too late. It's going to auction. And Bob Arum is saying he's going to bid how much he's going to bid. And that's just going to be the case. And he's going to have to take that. It's like with Terence Crawford, people saying like, I didn't think Bob Arum should have come out that hard against Terence, but I didn't think he was lying when he said he was losing money in Terence Crawford. Probably is losing money, and he's mad about it. Bob Arum is a cheap dude. But he's also not always wrong. How much do you think Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos is going to do in America? Who's really checking for that fight? It's not like you can get people come to the fight. People ain't coming to the fight. So that's a new saga with Bob Arum. The Terence Crawford, I don't know what happened with the Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter situation. But in my opinion, Sean Porter should have enforced the mandatory and gone to purse bids, because you see, when you feel you're worth more than you really are, let's see how much people are willing to pay for the fight. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. What's up, Sporting Advantage? How you doing, man? Sporting Advantage, what do you think about Bob Arum saying he don't care if he lose a purse bid for the Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos fight? He don't care about that. Hold on, I got a phone call coming in. Yeah, man. Sorry about that phone call. So Bob Arum said he don't care nothing about that. So again, I think it was 1-2 Kid was like, yo, Sean Porter should enforce the mandatory, let it go to purse bids and see who wants to buy. A lot of these dudes have an overinflated sense of self and they feel like they're worth more than they are. A purse bid will put you in check. Because if your promoter says, look, man, I'm gonna pay you this and I'm gonna pay you this, and you're like, well, that ain't enough. Well, okay, let it go to purse bids. Let it go to purse bids, see who will outbid me, because somebody might bid less and win. Let it go to auction. I really would like to know how much Teofimo Lopez asks for, because this kid so far has been real scatterbrained sometimes. Been real scatterbrained in terms of his intentions. Yeah, I'll fight Haney. Next thing is, nah, Haney got to fight somebody. Now here you are with Kambosos, and your own promoter say, man, I don't care nothing about that. I'm not paying no big money for no goddamn George Kambosos fight. Yeah, man. Dan Raphael just tweeted it just now with quotes from Bob Arum. Bob is like, I'm not paying for that, bro. Let me share the information again. Oh, god damn it. Let me share it again in case you haven't seen it. Wait, hold on now. There you go. There you go. Here it is. This is from Dan Raphael's Twitter page. And down here, he says, the impasse is not because Lopez promoter, Top Rank, and Kambosos promoter Lou DiBella have been unable to work out the money. Both promoters believe they could work it out quickly. The issue is a disagreement between Top Rank and Lopez over his purse. quote, open quote, we haven't been able to reach a deal for whatever reason, and this is not a marquee fight, Aram told Fight Freaks Unite, though declining to discuss the numbers. If somebody outbids us, it's fine. I don't care. It's fine. We get a percentage from Lopez depending on the bid. That's the deal. Every promoter has that in their contract. And so be it. The fight will happen. Somebody will buy it. Me too, John Dealey. I want to see Haney Lopez. Yes, these lightweights are acting like divas. All of these dudes just kind of running around acting like they're better than they really are. I'm not interested in that. So yeah, Teofimo Lopez is about to find out exactly how much he's worth and how much other promoters thinks he's worth. I wonder who else is going to bid on it. I doubt Eddie Hearn is going to. Well, I wouldn't put it past Eddie Hearn to bid on it because the zone has just launched launched globally, and they're making a big push in Australia and New Zealand. Remember, they have in New Zealand, that is, they have Junior Farr versus Joseph Parker coming up. So I wouldn't put it past Matchroom to bid on a Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez fight to get that Australia viewership. I wouldn't put it past them. Huh. So is Bob Arum cheap? Should Bob Arum just pay whatever Teofimo Lopez? And we don't know, by the way, what Teofimo Lopez asked for. Let's just say that off the rip. We do not know what Teofimo Lopez asked for. Exactly, John Dealey. Exactly. And like I just said, like how the zone has launched globally and they're looking for them viewership numbers. This fight could be drummed up into something not for really the American tastes, but for that audience down there. Hey, Black, what up, man? Jump on with me, bro. Anybody else who want to jump on with me. Lisa Bales, John Dealey, anybody sporting, jump on with me before I get off. Y'all know I don't stay on long. So yeah, that fight, back to John Dealey's comment, that fight could be worth something in the Australian market. That this is not necessarily a fight for the American market. Uh-oh.
Yo.
What's good? What's good, sporting? Or is this Wilder Justice today?
This is a sporting advantage. But yeah, man, I was just listening to what you were saying, and yeah, I think we can, take what we saw happen with, Crawford and Arum and, everything going on just to kind of, go right back at Bob Arum as far as like, he doesn't, maybe he's a little bit too old for this. Maybe he just really doesn't care anymore. Like that guy just said about Australia having like a huge audience. That's true, man. Like I woke up one night, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. There's like some, little fight going on down there. And it's like, they've got like 70,000 people in like a YouTube chat, going crazy over it. So yeah, man, there's a lot of people in Australia that are really big on fights. So yeah, I think he's missing out on it.
Yeah, well, I would really be interested to know what Teofimo Lopez asked for. But like Lisa Bale said, I don't know if he's cheap. He's just not overpaying anyone. And he does appear to be cheap. I don't know, man. Look, the man is just cutting the cloth, to where he can manage. You know what I mean? I mean, he not about this. He trying to save his big budget, I guess, for some other time. But I don't know when that other time is. He's almost 90. You know what I'm saying? But I, like you said, Sporting, I wouldn't put it past Eddie Hearn to throw in a bid for this fight. Maybe partner with Lou DiBella and throwing a bid. Because remember, Lou DiBella and Eddie Hearn work well normally, because I think Eddie Hearn, Lou DiBella, and Joseph Parker's people are working on the Junior Far fight in New Zealand. So again, I think somebody said they have live gate in Australia, but I don't know if there's a travel ban to Australia. Either way, it might do something for the zone to have two big fights in that area for the year. You have Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos, and you have Junior Far versus Joseph Parker coming up actually this month, right? Something like that. So, I mean, hey, why not, bro? Why not? John Dealey says, Bob trying to take that money with him for the next life. You damn right. I would take
yeah,
it too.
Bob's got a lot of he's just got a lot of fights that are potentially on the table with, a lot of I guess it's, it should be like considered successful because, you got a lot of champions with belts right now. But again, it goes to show that, like you just said, maybe he's, holding out for something that he believes will be even bigger. So, personally, me, you, and, a lot of the people that, we communicate with, we think that, Teofimo is a big draw and he's a huge name, and especially with, all the belts right now. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense to us, but like you said, maybe there's something else in the works.
Well, I don't know if Teofimo was a big draw because I haven't seen him draw like that yet. Has he done a pay-per-view yet? No. But according to how much he asked Bob Arum for, Bob Arum is going to have to put that on pay-per-view in America, right? And I'm not sure if ESPN is willing to get, because in America, that fight does nothing. I don't think there's enough Australians and Greeks in America to make that fight worth it.
Yeah, I could see it maybe being on like ESPN Plus or something like that.
Right, but according to how much Teofimo asks for, you might have to put that on pay-per-view. It's like you're forced to put Terrence Crawford on pay-per-view because, you know what I'm saying, you have to try and get some extra revenue to pay him.
Yeah. I think we've seen a lot throughout this pandemic and everything, as far as like, fighters pricing themselves out. Like, do I believe that, everybody needs to come with 10 million to face Teofimo or whatever? No, I don't believe that. But, you don't really know where their mind state is when they're saying these things. Is it just trying to get some more views their way? Is it just trying to, keep up with the Joneses? Whatever it may be. But, yeah, I think Teofimo has built his brand. I know you said that you don't think it's going to be a big, or he's not a big star yet, and you're right about that. But I do think that based on his viewerships through free TV and things like that, that, he's still exciting and he's going to be a force to reckon with, and he still has a draw.
Oh, believe me, I think Teofimo has a lot of upside. I think he has more upside than Lomachenko. I think the best thing that could happen to Top Rank was having Teofimo Lopez take them belts off of Lomachenko, because he talks a lot. He knocks people out, aggressive dude and all of that. So yeah, I believe it was the best thing that happened to Top Rank, right? So I don't know if Teo is a big draw yet, because he hasn't had the opportunity to draw yet. This pandemic sort of put everything on hold, and he won these belts in the pandemic, and I don't know when they're gonna come out of that. But maybe if he was able to travel to Australia, he would do more money, because there's live gates down there and pay-per-view and all that. But this fight is not for the American market. I don't think so. So I don't know.
I'd have to agree. Kambosos Jr. isn't, exactly somebody that's, your common household's going to know about him too much. So, yeah, I think that you're probably right about this whole thing. Loma, even though he wasn't a huge draw, he still had a lot attached to him with, his amateur. Everybody knew him. So that may have been a big part why Teo and him did such large viewing numbers. So I don't know. You're right.
Yeah. EJ Boxing Line. You just have ducking him. I'm watching it in pieces, EJ. I'm at work, remember that. And when I'm at home, I got my kids, so I can't watch that with my kids. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching it in pieces. I can't watch it all. Don't spoil it for me. I don't want nobody to tell me what's in this documentary with Kinahan. I'm watching it in pieces when I get a chance. Nobody spoil it for me, please. Okay?
Yeah, I won't spoil it. Trust me.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Oh, so
that's like that whole thing the other day. I was trying to like kind of allude to it, but I realized that not many people had really been informed on what was going on and all that good jazz. But
I want to.
Yeah, and it's probably not the best thing to kind of like, I don't know, take fun at, just because there is a lot of people's lives and careers at stake when you do that. So whatever.
Yeah, I'm watching it in pieces. I watched some so far, so I gotta watch it when I get a chance. In my little spaces and intervals. But no problem, EJ. I got you, bro. I got you. Tony's reviews. Peace. Yeah, no doubt, my brother EJ. So what y'all think, man? Tony, all y'all, EJ. Bob Arum said he don't care about this kambosos fight, right? If somebody buys a fight, they buy the fight, and he gonna get money either way. But he not bidding no big money for this. Him and Teofimo Lopez is beefing over money. Is beefing over paper. Remember, him and Teofimo had it out before at the Lomachenko fight. When Teofimo was like, yo, just tap me up a little bit more. And Bob Arum said no. Lomachenko had to come down on his pay to pay Teofimo. All right? So this ain't new for Teofimo Lopez and Bob Arum. This ain't new. Bob Arum ain't about that life. He just not paying for no big fight, well, no small fights right now. But I do think it might be worth something down in Australia. I agree with Sporting and John Dealey. So somebody might slide in, maybe an Australian promoter might slide in and say, you know what? I can get this fight. Hey, man. I don't think anybody in America wants to see the fight. But what we're saying is, Tony, would that fight be valuable elsewhere? But Top Rank is really an American based promotion, and he don't really care too much about nothing, just American pay-per-views. So it might be valuable to somebody else, just not Bob Arum right now. Let's see what we got here. Ma the Machine, how you doing, Chief? Hey Ma, who is that in the corner? Who is that kid? Is that you coaching a kid boxing? Who's that? In your avatar, who's that? I can see Tio exiting left on Top Rank. Well, he got 3 more years, man. Unless he buys that contract out, he got 3 more years there of hard labor. I guess it all depends on how deep Kangaroo poach. Oh, I got you, man. I got you. But hey, man, I'm just saying, like, I think it might be worth something to the zone, to be honest. Just depends on how much they win, but it's going to auction. Teofimo Lopez might end up being disappointed over this auction. Because somebody might bid, top rank might bid something, and somebody might bid like $1 more and won. Right? And Tio is still going to be unhappy, but he's going to have to fight. Purse bids check your ego. Just like pay-per-views, they check your ego. So, I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because if it does, if this kind of like backfires on Bob and Tio, like it's maybe somebody takes a chance on it and maybe gives them big money for this, then we might, like Lisa was just saying, we could see him maybe exiting Top Rank very soon. So who knows? But I just wanted to hop on here with you, man, get your hear what you had to say about this issue. Also chop it up with you a little bit. So good to always good to. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I kept interrupting.
You still have a strike on your channel?
What's that?
You still have the strike on your channel?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be there till April the 2nd or whatnot. I got a strike. It's the only strike I've ever had too, which is really unfortunate for me. And I haven't been able to get in contact with any of DAZN's people. I've sent in like so much stuff, and I just haven't gotten in contact with them. And with all the policies changing and YouTube, a lot of the platforms themselves, they have a lot of control now. And just because, you say, like, for instance, if I'm like doing something on your channel, Iron Kong, and I say something that you don't like, you can remove it. Like, you could remove me from, the situation right now. It's the same thing there. So you don't have a lot of pull when it comes to these type of things, but it's whatever. And yeah, it's just mistakes that you learn. I had some audio that I guess that's what they're alluding to is they could hear some of the audio or whatever. So it's gonna it's just something you can learn from. So we're gonna learn from it. We're gonna get better, and we're gonna come back better. So
Yeah, man. Hey, subscribe to Sporting Advantage channel. Got some good stuff. The zone being kind of petty, but whatever, man. Get out of here. Hey, peace
yeah.
out.
All right, peace out, brother.
Yeah, man. Who else we got in here? Yeah, Madam mentioned that's my farmer boxer. He 28 now and old. He's 28 old. Oh, okay, got you. God damn it. Hold on. Got a phone call. John Dealey in the house.
You're right, Uncle.
What's good, man? Long time.
Yeah, just working. I'm just always working, so I just get on when I can.
Where you from, John?
I'm from Birmingham, so
Birmingham.
I don't live that far from Rafi, to be honest.
Ah, I see. What's your comments on this whole debacle with Teofimo and the rest?
I think it's just a general issue with American boxers. They don't seem to understand that if you put the work in, the money will come. So if you look at two British-based boxers who are not successful but make good money, the reason they make money is because they're prepared to fight, and that's Dillian White and Derek Chisora. It doesn't really matter how good a boxer you think they are. They're popular here because they'll just fight. They'll put it on the line. And Dillian White has headlined loads of pay-per-views with no world titles on the line over here and made good money because he comes to fight. And it's the same with Derek, really. Derek makes good money because he fights. He'll fight anyone, he doesn't care.
So you're saying then it might just be an issue with how is it the fighters or the market is the issue? How the American market really doesn't value boxing like that, or is it the fight?
I think it's fighters, because if you put on entertaining fights regularly, you'll garner public interest. But boxing is not garnering any public interest in America, because there aren't any American champions who are putting on fights that people really want to see. So it's just become a minority sport, and it's been dwindling since the 70s, really. If you think that boxing was probably more popular than baseball in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and the NFL wasn't even really popular until I think the 70s. And you look at the state of boxing now, it's because people aren't fighting.
Right. I got you. I don't know. I mean, again, Bob Arum did not say how much Teofimo Lopez asked for. He didn't want to get into that. But he just plain out said he not paying he not paying no more for the fight, and you're gonna have to go to auction, and somebody will buy it, and if they want to pay for it, fine. He gets money anyway. So it's just interesting because Teofimo and Bob have been at it about money. I mean, for a while. You know, Tony Review says, I really feel like Tio stock dropped by him putting out statements that he would never give Loma a rematch. The dude killed half his fan base. But I don't know. I mean, you're not gonna fight Loma. You're not gonna fight Haney. Now you're here haggling Bob over kambosos. I really don't get it. You know, no, I understand George Kambosos is your mandatory, but damn, bro, you know, to me, Teofimo has to kind of get a grip on certain things. You know who you're dealing with Bob Arum. Bob Arum, as Lisa said, the man is just not willing to pay for small fights anymore, especially in this time. Nobody's willing to put out big money unless it's an absolute monster fight, i.e., Joshua v. Fury, who's going to have site fees from overseas. Remember, that fight is not happening in America, it's not happening in the UK, it's happening someplace completely different. If that fight was more rooted in America, that fight probably would not happen right now. It probably would not happen. If that was a, say, Wilder versus Joshua fight, where it was based, who's this? ERF Boxing. Hello? Am I not hearing this person, John Dealey? ERF Boxing, what's up?
I can't hear Eric either. I don't know if he's...
Okay, well, hey, ERF, if you hear me, bro, come true. So I'm just saying, like, oh, what the hell was I saying again? I lost my train of thought. Shit. I need
I
some
think
jinx.
what you were saying was that Teofimo needs to get a grip of himself because people aren't prepared to pay for smaller fights. They're not going to pay big money for a small fight like a mandatory like this.
But that's obvious. Didn't I hear Eddie Hearn say, well, not Eddie Hearn, even Anthony Joshua say, I'm taking a pay cut to fight Kubrat Pulev. He took a pay cut to fight Kubrat Pulev. That's the biggest name globally in boxing today. Anthony Joshua, he takes a pay cut. You can't be out here. You're a unified champion. You haven't defended your unified status yet. And you still out here haggling over funds for George Kambosos. This fight ain't no big money fight. How much did Josh Taylor ask for to defend against whoever that was from Thailand? Remember that fight, John Dealey? You think Josh Taylor asked for a lot of money for that fight? No, you go and clean this dude up and you leave.
I think there's this split between boxers who value staying active, who can see the value in not developing a load of ring rust, and other boxers that are just concerned with knowing their worth, but their worth is overinflated. The only exception to that rule that I've really seen is Terence Crawford, because when he said he wasn't going to fight during the pandemic because they couldn't afford to pay him, and he wasn't going to take a pay cut, he was there in the gym sparring with his people who box out of his own gym, helping them prepare for fights. So he was keeping himself sharp a different way. But I just think what a lot of boxers don't seem to understand is that you have to be able to handle success. So they get a little bit of success and they think they've made it and they don't have to do anything anymore.
But then that's how my guy is carrying himself. Teofimo, I want 10 million to fight. I'm not fighting for no less than 5 million. Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, okay, you took on loan when you won, and you deserve a lot of credit for that. However, your market value doesn't just go by what you say it does now. Your market value is based on sales. And this fight isn't going to sell a huge amount in the US. It might be good in Australia, but Bob isn't going to put it on in Australia. And, you're not Floyd Mayweather. You're not going to just do huge numbers based on being Teofimo Lopez. You haven't done enough in the sport for that to happen yet. You've done one good thing, basically. And the fight isn't a fight that people are going to watch over and over again. It was good on the basis that you weren't expected to win. it wasn't the most entertaining performance that I think, God, I want to watch this guy fight again. Look at what he did to Loma. He cleaned his clock and completely dominated him. You know, he just won. I think he fairly won. I haven't got a problem with the result, but it wasn't like the most scintillating boxing match I've ever seen in my life. And it's one victory.
Right. That's like, let me see. Would that be the equivalent of, say, Tyson Fury beating Klitschko?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's a really good comparison.
Right. Right. Tyson Fury beats Klitschko. I know he disappeared after that, but Tyson Fury couldn't have called himself this huge pay-per-view draw after that fight.
Well, there's some things that happened because of the rematch. We've got some indication of figures. So they were supposed to have a rematch in Manchester, and Vlad pulled out from the first one with a calf injury, and the ticket sales for that were going really slowly.
Really?
Oh yeah, people are interested. People like Tyson Fury didn't become a big name in the UK on the back of fiddling a little win against Vlad in the way that he did. Joshua was still a more popular fighter because he was just more entertaining.
That's a bit surprising to hear. So I guess maybe that's why he never tried to bring a fight back to the UK again. Remember, Tyson Fury decided he's going to continue his career in America because maybe he felt like he's not getting no love in the UK.
I think a lot of what you hear coming out of Fury's mouth is resentment that he beat Klitschko and yet he couldn't outshine Joshua at the time that he did it. Now that changed a bit now after knocking out Deontay Wilder, but still, you saw you were in Rafi's live yesterday where he was quoting a different platform's poll on who the A side is, and it was 3-1 that AJ is the A side over Fury, and that's a British-based poll. So AJ is still more popular than Tyson Fury, even though Tyson's probably got his most entertaining win that he's had in his career.
Wow. Well, that's crazy.
But the thing that I think a lot of people outside the UK don't understand is it's a minority of people here that like shit talk. Like it's not doing a lot of shit talk in the media in the UK doesn't make you a big star here.
Well, Tony's reviews seems to agree with you. Tony says Fury was always more known in America. Fury's mouth was too wild for the British market. However, his personality is a norm for the States.
I can well believe that that's true. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons that Anthony Joshua hasn't done that well in America. His personality sells well here. And if you look at other people that sold well in the past, like Frank Bruno, most people who didn't live through the 1980s in the UK, and I did, I was a kid, but I was old enough to know about these things. Frank Bruno was ridiculously popular, and he's not a shit talker. He never has been. It doesn't sell well here, and it's. I don't really remember him as a boxer, but even when I was a teenager, Henry Cooper was still doing adverts on TV here, even though he'd never won a world title. And he was popular for the same reasons. He wasn't that kind of guy. Yeah, I mean, there's sections of the British public that like it, but it won't take to superstardom here. It won't do that for you.
I see. Well, Teofimo Lopez is gonna have to figure this out in America, man. I think the pandemic sort of robbed his transformation into a draw. It robbed him. I you know, because of his position as unified champion, he's in a better position than Terence Crawford to become a big draw because people have to come to him. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford has to go to other people.
To an extent, but I'm not in America, so I don't know how it's come over, but Teofimo doesn't seem to be too interested in making any interesting fights with the other lightweights. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be calling out Devin Haney per se, but he's actually telling Devin Haney he can't have the fight. And out of the other lightweights, that's the one that would be the natural one to try and sell. Bob and Eddie have had to give on these sort of things before. I don't really see how that would be a roadblock in that fight getting made. And it's the logical one that you could build up. And possibly the Loma rematch could do good numbers as well, but he doesn't seem to be trying to sell any fights either.
Yeah, I don't know. Bob, I don't know. Bob has just been chilling in his room. Like, you know, he's just been kind of at home chilling. And, you know, during the pandemic, he's not really out there, you know, beating the drums. The most selling he's done is say Kubrat Pulev is going to knock out Anthony Joshua. That's the most. That's the most.
Yeah, but I'm on about Teofimo though. It's like fighters have to sell fights too.
Yeah, but
when
I mean,
when
Bob,
have you ever heard AJ say he's not going to fight someone? Ever?
Never.
Exactly. But we've heard from Teofimo he's not going to rematch Loma. He's not fighting Haney. He's not. So who are you going to fight?
Right.
How is anybody supposed to get behind him? Because he seems to think that he's too good to fight anybody else now.
That's right. But it's weird with him. And he, you know, one time he says, I want to fight everybody and I want to do this and I want to do that. But then right after he's like, man, I don't have to fight these guys. I'm this and I'm that. You know, Sporting Advantage disagrees with you, John Dealey. He says, I think Top Rank would have taken AJ over Fury if they could. Also, AJ would be a huge star in America, regardless of antics.
Well, that may all be true. But all I'm saying is that Tyson Fury's personality doesn't sell well in the UK.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's all I'm really saying. And it's borne out by the fact that after he beat Klitschko, the ticket sales at the Manchester Arena for the rematch with Klitschko were terrible. There was speculation at the time that actually Klitschko had faked an injury because the fight wasn't selling. I don't know. There was no base to the speculation, but the fact that people were speculating about that shows how bad the ticket sales were.
Right. I think I was saying before that Teofimo has, in terms of being a draw, it's similar to Haney, right? Because I said on my stream yesterday that Devin Haney has to stop holding up his career, you know, for Teofimo, saying he want to fight Teo. Devin Haney hasn't announced a fight yet. And it's like, it's almost as if he's not going to fight Ryan or Teo, they're kind of dragging their feet. Then you have Teofimo, who's like, it's like the flip side. He has fights available, people who want to fight him, but he's saying no to them. Lomachenko wants to fight him. No. Devin Haney wants to fight you. No. But you're here now haggling with Bob Arum over George Kambosos. Devin Haney, on the other hand, is trying to fight Ryan Garcia. They don't want to fight Devin Haney. Teofimo, I don't want to fight you either. But you're still dragging your feet. So both these guys really got to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo got to do some work. Like you can't just sit there, as you were saying, John Daly, and saying like, I'm not fighting you. As you said, well, who do you plan to fight, sir? Who do you plan to fight? You know?
There's been so much talk about this division, comparing it to the Four Kings. And it's like, I mean, I was a kid in the 80s, so I remember all of them fighting each other. I didn't hear anything about how Tommy Hearns wasn't going to fight somebody.
Right.
Or how The only person that Sugar Ray Leonard looked reluctant to fight was Marvin Hagler, but they weren't in the same weight division. So there wasn't the same pressure. If it came down to welterweights, Leonard would fight anybody. And we're trying to talk about these guys in the same way that we're talking about, Duran and Hearns and Leonard, Benitez. They fought each other. There was never any talk of we're not going to fight each other. It didn't come up. And I think it's... I wrote a pretty sarcastic post on somebody else's live when they were talking about Sport King stuff, saying that it's more like four queens. We've just got four divas that are too busy to fight each other. They all think that they're the A side. They'd rather have an argument about who the A side is than actually just get in the ring and have a fight.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I don't ever understand why there's big discussions about A side. The A side is the one who sends the offer. So if you're asking somebody to send you an offer and claiming to be the A side, you're the B side. Straightforward. If you're the A side, you make offers.
That's true. But man, but that's the story about Bob Arum and Teofimo, man. Also, in other news, I guess Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum have worked out to not clash their fights, which we all know wasn't going to happen, of Canelo and Yildirim and the undisputed fight with Ramirez and Taylor. Arum said, Eddie and them came and spoke to him, said Canelo wants the 8th. ESPN didn't really care either way, so they just moved to Taylor and Ramirez after May the 8th date, which is a good thing for boxing. You don't need no stupid clashes for no reason. But I think on an earlier stream I did, I was asking what qualifies as a big fight. And I said on that stream, if these two fights clash, we're going to see which one's a big fight, because that's an undisputed fight. Canelo is just a unification, right? This is an undisputed fight going up in unification. And we're going to see which is a big fight, which one people think is a big fight, because if you're a boxing fan, you really should watch the undisputed fight. But people would watch the Canelo fight. So I'm glad they didn't clash, because I think the undisputed fight deserves its own night, personally. But not even that fight I'm seeing Bob Arum really even beating the drum on. Not even that fight.
No, that's disappointing, because I mean that's a great fight that everyone should be excited about. The Canelo Yildirim fight is just a mandatory, really. I think I've lost track of how they've played it out, the franchise and the belt on the line, but it's not a fight that's got any intrigue. I don't think anybody's giving Yildirim much of a chance. It would be a ridiculous upset if Yildirim won. Whereas Ramirez and Taylor, people don't really know who's going to win that fight. You might have your own opinion, but no one's certain. And it's the lack of intrigue with Canelo that I struggle with. I can't think of many people who can get in the ring with Canelo, and I'm not sure on the result. The closest I might be unsure on is how Canelo wins.
Right. Like how he wins and when he wins.
Yeah, because for there to be a good level of intrigue, you need to think that the fighter that you're either supporting can lose, or you like both guys and you don't know who's going to win. That's an interesting fight that should garner in, the public imagination. But if you just know this guy's going to win, it's kind of like, what's the point in watching?
Right. But people would watch Canelo over Josh Taylor versus Ramirez.
I think that's true. But I do think Canelo's numbers suffer because he hasn't got an adversary. Even if it wasn't going to be in the next fight, if they could build towards a big fight, I think it would really help Canelo.
Right.
I think he's getting paid as much now I think Canelo's happy because he's cut out Oscar, but I don't actually think he's getting paid the same amount of money. If he was completely confident in his brand, I think he would be doing pay-per-views. But he's staying at his own, in my opinion, he's getting a flat fee. So there's less pressure on him to do numbers.
Well, pay-per-view itself isn't that great in America. Nobody buying no pay-per-views in America, man. You know, people streaming stuff now. So he's like, man, let me just stay over here. I don't have to worry about no selling, no nothing.
I think there's an element of that. But I also think that if it was a truly big fight, people would actually buy it. But tell me the last big mega fight that's had in America.
Fury versus Wild.
It was really a mega fight.
For America, that was
because I think it was Floyd Pacquiao, and that did great numbers.
I guess, yeah, true. But man, I'm just really hoping that Mr. Teofimo Lopez gets a grip on himself, and I know a lot of people are going to be calling Bob Arum cheap, but bro, this fight ain't no big fight, man. How much is this man supposed to pay for that fight, bro?
It's a mandatory defense. What does it, he lost touch with reality, and I don't know whether it's an age thing or culture thing or what it is, but a lot of boxers that are based in America seem to be focused on their worth ahead of putting the work in to get their worth. It's like everybody tries to blame Floyd for this happening, but Floyd put the work in. Floyd built himself to a position where he was the unequivocal A-side, whereas now they all want to be Money Mayweather, and then nobody wants to be Pretty Boy Floyd. It's just, even that statement's becoming a cliche because we've seen it happen so many times, and they're just all at it. I don't understand why. If you look at American-based fighters, 9 times out of 10, they're more interested in you that they're the A-side ahead of everybody than they are about actually arranging fights.
That's right.
It's killing the sport because nobody, you can only be interested in that for so long. I mean, I would be happy if I never ever heard a A-side discussion again for the rest of my life.
I got you.
I don't care about it. I just want to see people get in the ring and perform.
Well, before I get off here, man, I also want to talk about my guy Daniel Dubois, who's back. He says he's back. He's gonna return to the ring soon. He also says all them fighters who was talking about he quit and all that BS, you know, he wants to run the fade with them. They can come in the ring and they can have some, so he can show them how much of a quitter he is. The first person I wanted to beat up is Carl Frampton. Is that his name, Carl Frampton?
Carl Frampton is somebody who's a genuine boxer who Daniel shouldn't really be mouthing off at like that. What does he fight at? Featherweight?
Yeah, so I want Daniel Dubois to get...
I don't know why he's calling his name. I don't know why he's doing that. Daniel, I understand that you don't like being called a quitter, but there's other days you could have picked on a header, Carl.
No. He didn't say Carl, but he said all the people who said he quit, all the fighters who said he quit, he wants to run the fade. I said I want Daniel to beat Frampton first.
Okay. But he's only a 126-pounder, Kong. So.
That's okay. We can feed him.
Right.
I'm saying we can
give a little backhand just to let him know his place.
Yeah, we can flatten him up a little bit.
Okay. I mean, see, I think Daniel needs to ignore all that quitting talk personally. My stance on it all along was that the corner should have thrown the towel in. I don't understand why the corner was being so brave.
That fight that eye was finished about 2 rounds before that. That eye was finished.
Well, also you could see that he couldn't defend against what Joe Joyce was doing to him. I don't care what it's on the cards. In that corner, I don't see how you could think Daniel was winning that fight. I don't understand how you could believe that. Unless you don't consider the jab to be a scoring punch, I don't know how you'd think he was ahead on the cards. And so there's a couple of rounds before he quit, he wasn't doing anything because he couldn't see.
Right.
So
I mean, you go ahead.
Well, what I'm glad about is the fact he's not ours. He's gone to Mark Tibbs. I don't know that Mark Tibbs is the best trainer in the world, but the issues that I had were twofold with Daniel. The matchmaking was poor, so he wasn't learning anything. And what we saw skill-wise when he got in the ring with Joe was horrendous. He couldn't defend against the jab, and he just didn't know what to do. If he can't steamroll you, he doesn't understand what he's supposed to do. And Daniel's not really that big for heavyweight. He's like a medium-sized heavyweight. He's about the same size as Dillian White. He's not a particularly big heavyweight. He's got a 78-inch reach, and he's about 6'4". He's a strong lad, and he's a puncher. Dimension-wise, he has to be able to defend the jab because he's going to come up against a lot of guys with bigger reaches than him. So, you know, I mean, you've got to have a plan for that.
I agree with that. I was while watching the fight, and Rafi sort of Rafi, you know, it's well like Rafi show. Rafi says the corner, you know, the corner wasn't giving instructions. All the corner was saying is go harder, go hard. I was like, what?
Well, this is it. What I don't understand is why we've heard so much about Daniel Dubois quitting and not enough about how we don't need brave corners in boxing and what was going on in that gym that this guy can't defend against the jab. Like real basic fundamentals that a boxer should be equipped with. It's like, do they not know how to parry? Does the guy training you not know how to parry the jab? You know,
what his trainer is his trainer like this? Is his former trainer? Was his former trainer a very experienced guy who had like a lot of fighters before him, or?
It's a bit messy because a lot of people train out of that gym, but I don't think Martin trains all of them. So there's multiple trainers working out of it. So I heard a lot of people talking about Denzel Bentley because he trains out the Peacock's Dream. But Denzel's still with his amateur trainer, I think it's called Ray Ball. I'd have to double check that, but he's still with his amateur trainer for definite. And Denzel's got some amazing skills and speed. I don't know how good he's ever going to be, but just from an eye test at British level, there's a lot going on with Denzel. A lot more going on than there is with Daniel.
That's unfortunate.
They train out of the same gym, but they have different trainers. But the real issue I had was Martin wasn't just his trainer, he was his manager, and he had a lot of input into the matchmaking as well. So not only had Daniel been not brought along correctly to fight Joe, Martin had agreed to fight Joe and not equipped him with the skills or the experience to actually have a chance against a really experienced guy who was a bigger man. The first time Daniel got in the ring with somebody else who was bigger than him.
That's unfortunate. Well, let's hope that we see some changes from Daniel. But all I'm saying is, man, an eye injury at heavyweight is a terrible thing to have because if I'm a heavyweight, I'm going for the eye. All right.
Well, particularly when you think Daniel's reach isn't something that at a higher level he's going to have an advantage with. You know, that makes it easy for his eye to get targeted with a jab. So he's going to have to do something skill-wise. He's young enough to improve all of his game. He certainly needed to leave Martin. I hope it healed up well. But it's that serious that he might not do. And really, if it doesn't, that's the corner's fault on all levels because they were doing his matchmaking as well as his training and they were in the corner for that fight. So they should have thrown in the towel. They should have given him more skills to work with and they should have matched him better.
Right.
including maybe not even putting him in with Joe Joyce. To be honest with you, I don't think how old was he at the time? 22.
Anywho, John, I'm gonna go back to work. I want
Thanks
y'all
for
to
having
have
me on, Iron.
no problem, man. Long time I haven't chopped it up with you, man. You know what I mean? You don't really get around Rafi like that, like in on the chat panel no more. You know what I'm saying? But you see, you've
Yeah,
been working.
I've just got work issues. I've been working nights. So it's hard to get onto Rafi's show. I'm about to go
Oh,
to bed over it. I talk to
well,
Rafi all the time. I listen to you when you're on there, but just actually getting on, it's not a good time for me.
that's all right, man. I appreciate you still coming on and giving me a couple minutes of your time, keeping me company while I talk about Teofimo Lopez. Want more money. So, you y'all have a nice day, man. Take care of yourself wherever you are in the world. People who are at work, people who are at home, y'all take care of yourself. Okay. I don't know if it's cold wherever y'all are, but let me tell you the temperature where I am right now. I can't leave before telling y'all the temperature of where I am. Okay. It is now 27 degrees Celsius where I am. It's sunny today. It's going to be sunny tomorrow. And it's going to be sunny on Thursday. Y'all have a nice day. Peace out.